My sister said I was jealous of her perfect husband, so I showed everyone the pregnancy test he bought me. My sister Maya and I used to be close until she met David at her yoga studio. She'd always been the golden child, but after landing David, a successful architect who looked like he stepped out of a magazine, she became insufferable. Every family gathering turned into the Maya and David show, complete with stories about their organic garden, weekend getaways, and his incredible cooking skills. 2 years ago, they had this elaborate wedding that Maya planned for 18 months. During the reception, David pulled me aside while Maya was taking photos. He said he'd always wondered what it would be like if he'd met me first, then quickly laughed it off as wedding nerves. I thought it was weird, but figured he was just drunk. After they married, Maya became obsessed with their image. She'd post daily about their morning runs, homemade dinners, and how David surprised her with flowers just because. Mom would constantly gush about what a catch David was and hint about when I'd find someone half as wonderful. The inappropriate behavior started small. David would text me asking for gift ideas for Maya. Then gradually the conversations became more personal. He'd ask about my dating life, comment on my social media posts, and send late-night messages about feeling misunderstood in his marriage. When I'd try to redirect conversations back to Maya, he'd say she didn't really get him like I did. Last Christmas, things escalated. David cornered me in the garage while I was getting decorations, standing way too close and saying Maya was lucky to have a sister who actually listened. When I stepped back, he grabbed my arm gently but firmly, saying we had a connection that was undeniable. I told him he was being inappropriate and needed to focus on his wife. He apologized, but said sometimes he couldn't help how he felt around me. My friend Jessica told me to document everything and avoid being alone with him. I started declining family invitations or bringing friends as buffers. This worked until Maya's birthday party, when David cornered me in the kitchen again. This time, he was more direct, saying his marriage felt like a performance, and that I was the only real thing in his life. I told him to stop and threatened to tell Maya if he didn't back off. Everything came to a head at our parents' anniversary celebration. Maya had been drinking and started her usual routine about their perfect marriage. When she noticed I seemed distant, she accused me of being bitter about my single status. She said it must be hard watching her live her dream life while I was still figuring things out. Mom nodded along, saying I should be happy for my sister instead of acting jealous. When Maya doubled down, claiming I'd always resented her happiness and probably wished David would notice me instead, I'd had enough. I excused myself to the bathroom, but Maya followed, continuing her rant about how pathetic my jealousy was. That's when I pulled out my phone and showed her the text David had sent me that morning, a photo of a pregnancy test he'd bought, asking if I was ready to start our real life together and leave Maya behind. The message included details about an apartment he'd been looking at for us and how he'd been saving money to support our future family. Maya's face went completely white. She grabbed my phone, scrolling through months of messages she'd never seen. David confessing his feelings, talking about leaving her, making plans for a life with me that I'd never encouraged. Her hands were shaking as she read his most recent message about being tired of pretending to love her when he was in love with me. We walked back to the dining room in complete silence. Maya, still holding my phone, announced that dinner was over. When David asked what was wrong, she simply handed him my phone with his messages displayed. The room went dead quiet as David's face drained of color. He started stammering about misunderstandings and jokes taken out of context, but Maya cut him off. She told everyone exactly what her perfect husband had been doing behind her back, reading some of his messages aloud. My parents sat in stunned silence while David tried to blame me for leading him on. Maya looked at him with pure disgust and told him to get out of her house. When he tried to argue, my dad stood up and escorted him to the door. Maya turned to me, tears streaming, and apologized for everything she'd said. It's been 2 weeks. Maya filed for divorce immediately and moved back in with our parents temporarily. David has been calling and texting both of us nonstop, but we've blocked him everywhere.